Hello and welcome to CWU TV News. Coming up this month, Ed Balls for Labour leadership. Non-addressed mail now absorbed into the workload. The Hooper report to be revisited. And CWU scoops TUC awards. As well as all the latest news from around the communications industry. But first, after demonstrating outside BT Centre in central London and ready to ballot its members, CWU has secured a 3-year pay deal worth 9.3%. The offer is fully consolidated and pensionable with a 3% rise on basic pay year on year. The CWU has put this offer out to a consultative ballot with a recommendation to vote yes for the offer. We spoke to Andy Kerr, Deputy General Secretary, about what this deal means for members.
Well, we started these negotiations in February, looking for the 5% pay claim we put in. It took us some months, longer than we would expect to take in these circumstances. But it's 3% for 3 years, and I think it's a good deal. But I think, apart from the consolidation, apart from the pensionable aspect here, it flows through to all allowances. And there's a lot of our members on allowances, whether it's shift working allowance, call-out allowance, etc. So the 3% each year is on that too. So, this is quite an incredible pay rise in some respects.
So it's flowed through to everybody.
Absolutely.
You've worked hard. You are proud of this, aren't you?
I'm very proud of it. It's took us a long while to get here. I mean, I would love to have been able to get here in April. It looks as though if the ballot goes well, we'll get it in people's pay packets in August, and hopefully they'll have a nice pay packet in August and be able to enjoy themselves with some of the bank money they've got.
To find out more about the pay deal, please visit the BT Pay section on our website. CWU is nominating Ed Balls for leader of the Labour Party. Following a hustings event in central London, the CWU National Executive decided he was the right candidate to lead the Labour Party with his commitment to universal broadband, his opposition to the privatisation of Royal Mail and his support to the trade unions. We caught up with Billy Hayes, CWU General Secretary, to find out more.
We asked Ed Balls questions about the sectors in which we've got members. Financial services sector, telecom sector, and of course the postal sector. And Ed Balls responded positively to all those questions. And we think he ticks all the boxes in terms of the policies, but he also, more importantly for us, he's got the toughness and the determination to take the fight to the Conservative Liberal coalition.
During the hustings, the 5 candidates were invited to present their hopes and aspirations for the party and country to union members, giving them the opportunity to pose questions about the economy, revitalising Labour and preserving links with the union.
I think we're all conscious on the platform. We're carrying on what is over a 100-year tradition of not just the Labour Party, but the Labour Party and the Cooperative Party and the trade union movement fighting for social justice and for proper rights at work. The reason why we are Labour is because we choose not selfishness but solidarity, and it is collective action with us all working together which in the past, in my view, has made the difference.
Non-addressed mail has been incorporated into normal workload at Royal Mail, as agreed in the recent Business Transformation 2010 agreement. Previously known as door-to-door, the new national agreement now shares the money payments out equally among all delivery workers.
Our members still, to some extent, are a little bit concerned about it being moved into workload because of some of the financial impact that it had on people in the short term. But I'm sure that in the longer term, people will realise that the move into workload was beneficial for the business in terms of its revenue and the money we can bargain for, and in terms of the hours that go into the industry, which will ultimately help to sustain jobs across the industry. So I would say to our members, you may have some concerns at the moment, but look, let's get on with this and let's try and make it work, but it's in all our best interests to do that.
The Hooper report outlining the future of Royal Mail is to be revisited for the coalition government, following fresh ideas of part privatisation. Initially written back in December 2008, the report needs to be updated to reflect the significant progress the Union and Royal Mail have made on modernisation through the Business Transformation 2010 agreement. Billy Hayes, CWU General Secretary, spoke to us after a recent meeting at Westminster about these fresh part privatisation plans.
We've been in the Houses of Parliament today meeting people from the Lords, people from the House of Commons, briefing them on our submission to Richard Hooper, who's been asked to look into once again the state of the postal sector. Well, the next step will be back here in September lobbying MPs. We're going to be doing a lot of work in the marginal constituencies, saying why privatisation of Royal Mail is a bad thing, and that's what we're going to be doing over the summer. And so we'll be back here after the summer break.
Environmentalists in the CWU are urging fellow members to join them in choosing activities and sharing experiences and ideas in a new online environment campaign initiative. With the support of CWU project worker Maeve Kennedy, the Climate Solidarity e-group aims to become a key forum for discussion to reduce waste, bring down energy consumption and cut carbon emissions.
Well, the Climate Solidarity project came about. It's ourselves in partnership with PCS, UCU, NUT and the charity called COIN, which stands for Climate Outreach Information Network, which is a small climate change charity based in Oxford, and it's funded by the DEFRA Greener Living Fund. I decided to launch the e-group initiative to overcome some of the barriers to involvement that I thought people might have. For example, young members in branches who may not have had that much involvement before, who aren't used to setting up and organising other members to do things. And because the funding only actually covers England, so I thought this would be a good way for people in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland who wanted to set up groups to be able to do so in a way that was quick and easy and didn't involve any great expense, so that way everybody can be involved irrespective of where they come from.
CWU's National Health and Safety and Environment Officer Dave Joyce is urging all union safety reps to respond to the government's review of health and safety. The review will investigate the application and perception of health and safety legislation and the rise of the compensation culture over the last decade. We caught up with Dave Joyce at the TUC to find out more.
It's vitally important that all safety representatives in all the trade unions across the UK respond to this consultation. The reason for that is that the coalition government's plans for health and safety are quite frankly frightening. One of the things that the government keeps saying is that there are too many inspections and there are too many inspectors. In the case of the Health and Safety Executive, if you like, the Health and Safety Police in the UK, they are so cash-strapped and understaffed that on average a British workplace only gets inspected once every 30 years. But in spite of that, and still the government is proposing to slash the budgets of the HSE. Our message to the government is stop basing your conclusions on media myths and a medley of Daily Mail and Sun headlines, and to base your conclusions on the facts.
Following Santander's recent takeover of Alliance and Leicester, CWU has recommended a new integration agreement on terms and conditions for Alliance and Leicester employees, covering 3 areas including a new grading structure, new pay scales relating to these grades and a common set of HR policies. These terms and conditions will apply across Santander's entire UK organisation.
We recommended the agreement because we've put in place protections for our members to ensure that they get a fair deal in a much bigger bank. The agreement will cover key areas, new pay scales, new job descriptions and new HR policies, and it will affect every one of our members in Alliance and Leicester areas. This is the first phase of discussions on integration of terms and conditions. There will be more discussions later in the year on issues such as allowances, pay on promotion, and significantly the whole area of pensions and redundancy agreements are totally outside the integration talks and they will remain unchanged.
The controversial bonus scheme for senior executives at Cable and Wireless is causing concern for CWU and is encouraging the company to cut bonuses before jobs and to act responsibly at a time when jobs are scarce. This is in response to the profit warning from Cable and Wireless worldwide earlier this month. And finally, CWU scooped 4 awards at this year's prestigious TUC Communication Awards, held at TUC Congress House in London earlier this month. CWU's Keep the Post Public campaign was awarded Best Campaign, beating stiff competition, and were highly commended in the Best Picture and Illustration, Best Website and Best E-Communication for CWU TV. Kevin Slocum, Head of Communications, gave his reaction to the accolades.
It is a great achievement for the Communications Department and for the union as a whole. Obviously the union takes communications very seriously. We've done a lot of work in the last few years trying to improve our communications portfolio and all our communications models. And having won Best Campaign in 2009 is a great achievement. You know, the TUC Awards have been running for a long time. We've never won Best Campaign. It's one of the key awards, one of the big prizes out there. And the Keep the Post Public campaign, it was a big campaign, it was a big public campaign with the members of the union and the members of the country, people in the country. And it's been great to get recognition for what was also, of course, a successful award in keeping the post public. On top of that, we've got awards for our website, which we've done a lot of work on, modernised, relaunched in the last 12 months. Best Picture and Illustration, Howard Burns, our designer, got a personal award for a great illustration. An illustration of Project Holborn, which people would have seen, the members of the union would have certainly seen in The Voice. And of course, we got an award for CWU TV. It's groundbreaking, it's great communications. And now, this week, we're launching electronic voice, e-voice as we like to call it. So members of the union are getting emailed a digital format of voice as well as the print format. So they're going to get a choice as to how they receive their news and views in the union's flagship magazine. And we think that's really exciting at the moment. It's a great product, and this is our next step in modernising the union's communications.
For more information about any of these stories, please visit the CWU website at www.cwu.org. Until next time, thanks for watching.